Coach, your group has the opportunity to go 4-0 on this homestand, something you all set out to do. How big of momentum would that be for your group heading into the All-Star break?
I think it's great momentum going into the All-Star break. Having these guys leaving out of here feeling good on a high note, knowing how that means we've played well, done the right things at the right time, and I think it's a great way to go into the break.
Do you believe that confidence like that can carry over and can kind of build on itself? That it is a factor to kind of see wins stack up and build that confidence.
Yeah, I do believe that. I also believe that if you're playing the right way, you feel it. And I think that's more than momentum. That's just knowing you're doing the right thing at the right time, playing the right type of basketball, and you can feel that. So that's part of the momentum, but that's also part of your process is right and you're doing the right things in this moment.
What's the biggest adjustment you think you guys had to make from last game to this game, facing Milwaukee again?
I'll let you know around game time.
What are your thoughts on those 2 game sets when you're playing a team back-to-back like this?
Oh, I love those. I think it's great preparation to see the guys' level of concentration on what they need to have done, how we need to play, and just like BD's saying, what adjustments do you make? You can feel those in real time versus playing different teams at different styles. You know what they're capable of doing, and how can you take some of it away and add to your strength in that as well.
The team said that Jet's out tonight with a left sprained ankle. When did that happen?
It happened during practice yesterday, going through a little bit of a drill. Came down on it wrong.
Coach, over the last 3 games, your group is #1 in the league in forcing turnovers, #1 in points off those turnovers. When you're playing that way, is that how you envision, Magic type of basketball?
Yes, and that's what we talked about in the meeting was doing it the right way, getting our stops, allowing our defense to create our offense, and then the last part of that is how do we continue to get better at converting those turnovers, finishing on the other end. I think that's the game changer for us. Getting 27 points off of turnovers the other night was big.
You obviously have this game first, but after the All-Star break, how does the mindset shift, or how do things change knowing that you're kind of in that last sprint to the finish?
That's a great question. Man, we'll have more work to do. That's not going to change, but I think the mindset adjusts to one game at a time. And I think we've been looking at it that way now, but I think it has to be more so. It's one game at a time. You're not looking at the end. You're looking at one game. How do you take care of that game in that moment? And that's what we need to do. That's the most important game because you can't get to the end of the season without going game by game.
Thank you. Des, your group has a chance to complete a perfect homestand and go into the All-Star break with some momentum. What would it mean to your group having done that, considering where you were coming into it?
I think it would be huge. We talk about it all season long, regardless what point of the season we're at or how things are going. You got to protect home court. It's what good teams do, and I thought that we've come out and played a little bit better basketball over these stretch. With Utah, we kind of had our ups and downs in that game, and even last game against Milwaukee, things kind of weren't going our way in the first half, but I thought our process was right. We didn't make a lot of shots, but the ball was moving. I think we held them to 50 points or 54 points or something like that, which is, that's where we want to be on the defensive end. So, getting back to our identity and doing what we do.
What's the hardest part about this last game before the break?
I think I like it actually. It's like you go out there and you leave everything you have on the court, and you got 7 days rest after. So it's one of them things where it's like it's not time to check out. It's time to give even more because you don't have to get on a plane after or prepare for another team in 2 days. So it's a freeing feeling knowing that you can leave it all out there.
What was last game like for you? I know Franz came off the bench, but when you, Franz, Jalen, and Powell are on the court together, that hasn't happened a whole lot this season. So what was that like for you to go through that again?
It was great. I think you know what Franz brings to the table, and what he does on both ends of the floor for us. So having him out there and getting Jay back, Jay didn't play for basically a whole month. He played 2 games in 30 days. So, him catching his rhythm, catching his strides, really been passing the hell out of the ball. Kick aheads, just a lot of things that have really helped, I think, ignite our offense and the way we've been playing. So credit to him. Look at this guy over here. What you seeing, man? You see a good looking dude through that lens?
How How critical is kind of building confidence and just having this homestand, being able to kind of get that feeling of playing good basketball again and getting that process?
It's huge. I mean, everything's about momentum. You know, I mean, you want to generate as much good momentum as you can. That's not everything, but it's real. We're human. So it's going to be a great. We got great opportunity to go home feeling good about what we've done. Going into the break.
What do you guys need to do to get back to your identity more often? I mean, no team is perfect over 82. You know that, but to get closer to the identity that this team has built, how do you do that more of the time, more often?
What identity?
Toughness, physicality, defense creating offense.
Yeah.
Being the kind of team that other teams hate to play.
Yep, I think that it starts with your mentality, and understanding that and taking pride in that is the way that we play, and that's something that we can hang our hat on, night in and night out, regardless of the outcome, and really feel good about that and knowing that can give us an opportunity to win games every night. I mean, last game we forced 20-some turnovers, and we had layups, dunks, threes, bench standing up, getting into it. Those type of energy plays. I mean, think about just some of Jalen's blocks, Noah Penda diving on the floor, offensive rebounds at the rim. Like any way we can generate extra possessions is just gives life to our team. So I think it starts there.
How difficult is it to keep that identity when shots aren't dropping the way you guys are accustomed to seeing them drop?
I mean, I don't think that is. That's how the game goes. I mean, every guy goes through it. I mean, you have courses of the season where you shoot the ball fantastic, and courses of the season when you don't. That's why numbers are how they are, and they fluctuate and move throughout the season. So it's really nothing to put time and energy worrying about. Just come in here, put the work in, trust your work, and all that stuff will work itself out.
How do you approach the kind of? I know we got the game tonight first, but how do you approach the time after the All-Star break? Is it like a sprint to the finish, or what's kind of the dividing line of that All-Star break to gearing up for the playoffs?
No doubt about it. I think that you got to come back with a different type of mindset. I mean, I think after the break, like you'll see a lot of different things. You'll see contending teams like really hitting their stride and playing well. You'll see tanking teams or teams that have guys in and out of the lineup. New guys are getting opportunities who are trying to play for contracts and play for opportunity to extend their careers in this league. So it's a different time, and you have to approach it as such. Every night is very meaningful, and we'll be playing some meaningful basketball down the stretch of it for sure.
What is your approach to the break itself? How much time do you take off? How much time do you how do you allocate your time?
I'll probably I'll take like 2 days completely off, not do anything, and then my trainer, he's coming with us, so we'll get it in once or twice over the break, but nothing crazy, more so just to keep the rhythm, keep the body moving a little bit, and just enjoy some downtime with my family.
Looking at tonight's game, Doc Rivers said on Monday that the second game, these two game sets are a little bit more spirited. How do you keep that physicality and energy up in this second game set, knowing that Milwaukee's coming out wanting to get a win?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I think that, he talked about it in the presser and, what he thought about the game and how we kind of controlled it with our physicality and effort. So I expect him to come out and play very hard tonight, and we'll exceed that.
Well, thank you very much.
Good deal, Des. Thank you. Tristan, your group has an opportunity to go a perfect 4-0 on this homestand. Considering the type of momentum you entered it with, how big would that be for your group?
Yeah, it would be tremendous, obviously. With the kind of rough patches we've had recently, I feel like that'd be a great, excuse me. Yeah, I was about to, but it went away. Sorry for the pump fake.
Got me.
Yeah, sorry, I lost my train of thought here, but yeah.
Going 4-0.
No, I mean, obviously, like I feel like everybody knows that. I think everybody can feel that too. We've been playing some better basketball as of late, so feels good, and would obviously feel even better going into the break with even more momentum.
I feel like momentum is real in that way, that just like kind of stacking wins, getting some confidence. Does that kind of build and grow on itself?
Yeah, I'd say so. Always a big thing, the confidence that you play with, the comfort level you play with, everybody being on the same page. I feel like that all kind of plays into the momentum piece, and just knowing, what to do, how to operate out there on the court, and just gelling together as a team.
Does this team get back to its identity, being tough, physical, the kind of opponent other teams hate to play more often?
Yeah, just committing to it. Committing to being one of the top defensive teams in this league, and making that our calling card, and setting the tone early in games. I feel like we've done a better job in these recent games of picking opponents up full court in the first quarter, and just setting the tone defensively, and being locked in from the get-go.
What was it like with Franz coming off the bench the other night? I know that's not going to happen a whole lot, I don't think, but just what was that like for you guys?
I mean, first of all, great to have him back. He's a central piece to this to the way we want to play, and to this organization, to this team. So happy to see him out there finally. Playing with some confidence in his leg again, and yeah, it's different, the fact that he comes off the bench, but I feel like the way AB's been playing, Jalen's been playing, Des been playing. We have a lineup that's working for us really well right now, and I feel like you'd have to ask Franz himself, but I don't think he has any problems with that. And more often than not, it's more about having him back than him being in the starting lineup or not.
What did you learn last year as a rookie about the All-Star break and the way you can use it to do whatever you want, I guess? But how do you approach? I know you have one more game tonight, but how do you approach the break now?
I didn't have a break last year, so I'm not doing anything for like a week straight. I'm just laying low, moving a little bit maybe so my body doesn't get rusty, but I'm cherishing this week of break for sure.
To that point, last year this team had to make that push after the break. How different is what did you learn about how different basketball is after the break in the lead up to the playoffs, and how can this team use that, or how can you use that to come out of the break strong?
Yeah, I mean, that's when kind of the end stretch happens of the season. That's when you kind of have your vision or your trajectory for the playoffs, and that's when it really gets real. That's when teams that kind of have a chance still have a lot to play for, and learned that last year, and feel like we're all excited for that last third of the season, though, where things get a little bit more intense and a little bit more real. So I think everybody's excited.
Did you enjoy the moments in that last game where you, Franz, and Mo were on the court at the same time? It seemed pretty cool.
I love it. I said it today when we were walking through stuff. I love the European lineup. We got Noah in there too. Just need somebody at the guard spot still.
Paolo's technically Italian.
Huh?
Paolo's technically Italian.
Yeah, technically.
Any thoughts on the Winter Olympics?
To be honest, I haven't really followed too much. Seen some extremes, but yeah, nothing I would want to comment in the media too.
I wasn't asking for formal comment, but by the way, during the All-Star break, that might be something you might, if you have
Tap into?
Well, if you have downtime and if you're not going